Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video. This first one is going to be using my Stanley number 45 to show how to cut a groove along the long grain. I've just got a piece of scrap. As you can see, I've already tested it out once just to make sure that I wouldn't make a fool of myself on this video. But real quick, I want to go over how I've got the number 45 set up. I've got a 1/2-inch iron in it right now. I do have both skates on, although it isn't required for this narrow of a cutter. When you're running along the grain, I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but I do not have either of the knickers engaged on this. I find that with a lot of the long grain cuts that I do, especially in hardwoods, sometimes they'll have a tendency to grab in the grain and kind of try and throw the plane off track, and so I just avoid those and avoid the headaches with that. I am using the short rods that come with the 45 instead of the long rods. You can do this with the long rods. There's really no consequences, I guess, to using the long rods over the short rods, but I prefer using the short rods whenever I can, just because it's a little bit less stuff to get in the way and I won't run the risk of catching it on anything. As you can see, I've got the depth stop here. I'm only using one because I have the fence set closer than what this secondary depth stop will allow me to use. If I set that any lower than what the top of the fence is, then it's just going to hit it, so it's not really going to do any good anyway. I have the fence set to be about 3/8 of an inch from the skates, and I also have the depth stop set for about 3/8 of an inch down. So with that, I will set this up real quick and I will go through cutting it. Real quick before cutting the groove, I just wanted to show how I have this piece set up on my bench. I have it overlapping about 1/8 of an inch over the edge of the bench, and this allows the fence to ride against the workpiece without hitting my bench, and also allows for where the cutter to be engaged on the workpiece. I don't know if you can see it on camera very well. See if I can. To be still over the bench. That way the downward force from planing won't cause this piece to pull out of the vise or wobble or cause any other trouble. So I've got the workpiece that I'll be putting the groove on clamped up in my vise. I've got my plane all set, and so I will start cutting the groove. It's not always essential on a shorter workpiece such as this one to start at the back end of the cut instead of starting at the front, but I do find that it makes it a little bit easier just to kind of keep your track where you want it to be if you start on the far end of your cut and slowly work your way back until you can start making full strokes. So that's what I'll do here. Now that I've got this started, I just wanted to kind of explain my technique a little bit. I don't just hold this knob and handle like this, kind of like what it might seem like you should do. I don't know if that is what you should do or what Stanley recommended, but what I do is I take my whole hand and I just basically push against the fence using all of these fingers like this, and then I hook my thumb in here and just kind of push towards the workpiece, so into the bench, and then push down with my right hand just to kind of get the pressure that I need. But it doesn't require a whole lot of pressure. The plane itself and just the weight of you pushing it forward should be enough to keep the groove or keep the cut going. Now once I get closer to the end of my cut, this depth stop will start riding on this, and you won't hear that slicing cut noise anymore, and that's when you know that you'll be down to your depth. But it's important to remember not to rock the plane out, as that would keep the cut going, but then obviously it'll make your groove out of square. And there you go. Okay, I've got the workpiece out of the vise now, and I just kind of wanted to get a quick overview of how we did. Looks alright to me. Now I tried this a couple of times already, but we'll see if the camera will play nice in focus. So I have my depth stop here set to 3/8 of an inch. That's what I used to set the depth stop on the 45, as well as the position of the fence. Well, it's right about on the money there, and we'll see how we did here. Looks like I had the fence just barely set too far out, but a little planing on the outside edge and that'll be good. I hope some of you were able to find this video useful, and I thank you for checking it out, and I hope to see you in the future.